Welcome to everyone. I'm happy today to have in our booth, Bronte booth, Morten. Morten is with us to talk about automation and how much automation is so important in the book printing industry. Morten, please.
Thank you very much for the introduction, and thank you for being here at Innovationdays together with my good friends from Rotomail, right? I was happy when you asked me about talking about automation, because I think it's tremendously important. And I don't think just of books of one, I also think products of one, because basically you can ask yourself, if you buy, let's say, flour or sugar or potatoes, how much do you want to share as a store in your home, and how much do you actually just want to when you need them, right? And it's always a balance, because sometimes you need more books, sometimes you need fewer books. And with automation, you simply enable a much more efficient way of producing books, because you don't build up a warehouse of books. And if you don't want to produce a lot of books, you simply need to automate all your processes.
Thank you, Morten. And about automation, it's a long time that everyone is talking about automation. So, in your perspective, what is most important when you are managing books? What do you have to look into to build a real automation software?
I think you and I, we have known each other for a little bit more than a year now. And I remember the first time I heard about you and Rotomail and Bronte, I was so amazed about the fact that you can have a production that is so smooth and so efficient. Because I have seen so many workflow automation solutions, but then it just takes a part of it, right? But with Bronte, you have created a solution that goes from the customer orders the books, to the distributors orders the books, to the managing of paper, to the calculation, to the pre-press, to the imposition, to the actual control of the machines. And I was surprised when I visited you, because you don't have any people in your pre-press department. It's just a computer, basically, right? And it's kind of become let's say, kind of a dream for a lot of printing companies, both because they can't get the labor, but also because if you have a lot of books printed in copies of one, you cannot process a book manually. You have to automate it, otherwise you cannot make any money. When the day is over, this comes down to customer acquisition cost. How much does it cost to make a sale? And if you sell a book of one, and let's say the book costs 2 or 3 euros or 5 euros or whatever it is, you can easily imagine that you need to do that without any labor involved in it. And it ensures a couple of things: cheap processing of the flow, but also fault-free production.
Thank you, Morten. An important sentence that you said at the beginning, you said automation is not only book of one, it's book of production.
Products of one, basically, right?
It's products of one.
Yeah.
Okay, can you explain me better what you're saying?
Yeah, I think for many years, a lot of printing companies have also realized that instead of getting books orders of 5,000, they got 500, now they got 50. But today you also get orders of one. And the only way you can produce books of one or products of one efficient is to make sure that, for example, like Rotomail have roll-based printing, that you on one roll has many books. And then you can automate the process from where the roll is rolled off into the finishing machine, added the cover, trimmed, and almost packed, and with a shipping label ready to do that. And when I say products of one instead of books of one, it is basically because it could also be a stitched product, it could also be a poster, it could also be anything else, where we, in the past, we produced maybe thousands, put it on a warehouse, only used half of it, and we had to throw out the rest of it. So it's good for the environment, it's good for the economy, and it's good for the printers, because now you have new opportunities of selling back catalogs from publishers that were simply not feasible before. And that is where I think the production of one is extremely interesting, and where I think that Bronte, as far as I know, is maybe the only software that I can remember that basically handled the entire process from customers delivering the files till it's actually shipped to the end customer, for example. Right?
Thank you. Last but not least, we are at the HID, and software is great, but then today, who is the state of the art of technology in finishing and printing do you believe that software and technology can go together and bring the business in a new stage?
100%. I mean, one thing is that you have showed it with Rotomail, of course, right? But I think that the customers that might look into the automation path will experience not just a better profit on existing sales, but also new opportunities in the market where they are seeing products that are simply not feasible unless you have some kind of automation software. And I can understand, and I do understand, if some printing companies think that, okay, this is a really big mouthful, because if you have been used to selling books of hundreds of thousands, it is much different to do it. And therefore, with again, if you can automate as many processes as possible, you have a printing company that operates more or less like the good old-fashioned printing companies, but just with instead of 1,000 of one, you have one times 1,000. Now you have 1,000 of one, and everything is what I see from Rotomail every day. And I know you have other customers that also show how efficient using software as part of the businesses.
Thank you very much, Morten. Thank you. Thank you everyone that is attending this video. Thank you.